So we've been joined for the rest of the discussion. I believe we have just a couple of minutes to wrap up. He was very late. I believe it's because of the traffic situation. I just want to give the excuse for him before he says it. Saka Salia is my next guest. How are you, Saka?
I'm fine.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. Now, the subject of the coalition of concerned teachers, they are embarking on a strike action today, and I believe that you were following the discussion of the set with the general secretary of the coalition. Now, when you are embarking on a demonstration like this, even though you are in talks with your employer to make sure your grievances are addressed, that is unfair. More logically, because it also flouts regulations or tenets of the labor law.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to our viewers. I don't think it's unfair, because we are facing an employer who does not listen to anything apart from strike action. And if you know that that is the only weapon, that is your most lethal weapon that you can use to achieve what you want, I think that you have to go for it, irrespective of whatever anybody says, that you have to pass them, because the rules are there, and the government itself normally violate those rules with impunity. So if you have that weapon and then you decide to stay it, I think you will be doing that to your own peril. I believe that even though they are already in negotiation with government, they should demonstrate to let the world, not just government, to let the world know their plight. And that is what they are doing. And if they do, because as we are talking, if they are not talking about going on demonstration, I don't think that concern would have been talking about it. But when they want to demonstrate their disgust or about even the negotiation itself, the negotiation process itself, then people will listen to them. Because if you look at incremental allowances, I mean, we all know how important teachers are. All of us are sitting here by the end of the fact that we're taught by teachers. You can even talk about the other things that I think is it Tier 2? Tier 2, of the pension. Yes, of the pension and all that. Now they've been contributing since 2009, and they cannot get their money. Somebody is investing the money somewhere, and they cannot get it. No. It's about time.
I think the thrust of the concern they have, because they're not supposed to collect the money now.
Some of them will be going on pension next year.
Yeah, but it's a pension fund, so yes, unless you're due. The concern they have is that there's not been some level of transparency as to who, because you know that now we have trusts that are supposed to take care of that level of the pension tier. Now, there's no accountability. The communication is also not forthright as to who or which entities, which firms are managing the monies on behalf of the pensioners or would-be pensioners, so to speak. So that's the subject.
So the demonstration will bring to finality all these things. If they don't demonstrate and let the world help them to come to conclusion.
Mr. Salia, do you think demonstrations really are just a means to an end, or they help in resolving the difficulties that worker groups tend to have?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just an end in itself, but it's like you said, it's a means to an end. And then once you demonstrate, at least you would have brought to the fore the world, like I said, would have known your plight and would have empathize with you. Like my brother was talking about the children and all the children. It's because of the children they did not go on the demonstration in the past. They cannot continue to use the children as a pawn to stay what is due them, because indeed it is even because of the children that they have to go on demonstration, so that they can get peace of mind, they can be motivated enough to teach the children. Now if they are not motivated and they go into the classroom, the children will not be taught well and all that. And even some of the children parents are teachers, and if they don't demonstrate and then get what is due them, at the end of the day those children that we are talking about will suffer, their education will suffer, and that will mean a lot to this nation. I think what they are doing is the right thing. Let's all support them. Let government open its ears and listen to them very well and see to their problems. Because we have an education minister who herself used to be a teacher or is a teacher, but it has become, she has become an anathema to the whole teaching profession.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, she has been a stumbling block to their progress. They themselves were enumerated by after her ascension onto that position. A lot of their conditions of service have deteriorated under her tutelage, and that is very bad. And for instance, they talk about hitherto under the erstwhile regime, MPP regime, where teachers were given incentives of bringing cars and all that. These people came and then they remove it under this education minister and all that. So instead of being a teacher, instead of her to help them actually achieve their professional, what is due them professionally, she herself is the one working against them and all that. So I think
it is alleged.
It's not alleged.
It's an allegation being raised by
what allegation? Is it an allegation that they no longer enjoy those incentives?
It's an allegation being raised by an entity.
It's not an allegation.
It's an allegation being raised by this very group. Now, if that has not been verified, and the accusation against
what has not been verified,
a reputable individual like the education minister, what she was and what she still is, I think that, don't you think that really is unfair to her personally?
No, it's not unfair to her person.
Okay.
Because you see, when you say it's an allegation, I don't understand what this allegation is. Is it an allegation that they no longer enjoy those incentives? It's not an allegation. It's a fact that is staring everybody in the face. So for somebody to say it's an allegation, and is it not also a fact that this happened under her watch? So it's no longer an allegation. It's a fact that we are all facing with. And if you want to be exonerated from that fact, what you do is that you should revert all those incentives back to the people. I think that is the only thing that anybody can say that she has come to help the cause of the teachers.
Anyway.
If not, I think that all.
But you should know that some of those decisions are taken by the finance ministry, especially the issue about importation of cars and the tax waivers that they tend to enjoy, etc.
So
the excuse that the finance minister gave at the time, or has given, is that there's been serious abuse of that.
So are you saying they should direct their anger towards the finance minister?
No, but the point is that you are negotiating with your employer. You haven't concluded those negotiations, and then you hit the streets. The question then is, do you think you are being fair to the employer?
Oh, no, you see, when you talk of negotiation, I mean, how long does it take to negotiate? There should be a finality to every negotiation. This Tier 2, what was it? Tier 2 that we are talking about started in 2009. Are you saying that the 2009, since they started contributing to that pension fund, and where transparency has not seen the light of day and all that, they should still be at the negotiation table till eternity? I mean, there should be a time where one would say enough is enough. And with all intent and purposes, they have not seen anything of that nature. They have not seen the light coming anytime soon. And for that matter, they have to engage in this demonstration. And I think by the demonstration that they are going to engage, within a matter of days, not even weeks, you see that their problems are solved. That is the only weapon, that is the only tool that they can use, and that is the only weapon that the government also fears. And that is why I strongly believe that it's good that they use that weapon. Because it has been used severally. By
will I be wrong if I conclude that you're inciting groups against governments?
No, not groups. I mean, I was not part of them. I just came here and you asked me those questions. I'm not inciting them. They are already demonstrating.
Even your utterances are at variance with what their own positions are.
Yeah, because knowing government and how intransigent government is when it comes to welfare of groups, I think that if you have the opportunity to demonstrate and let them understand that you are not in tune with the slow pace of the negotiation, I think it's fair enough. One demonstration itself is not a bad thing. It's enshrined in our constitution. It's a right that everybody exercises. And if the teachers are exercising it lawfully, I don't think anybody would say that somebody is inciting them.
As far as the labor law is concerned, it's a right, but also a right that must be guided based on certain precedents being met. And so, well, it's an opinion you hold. So, but then how do we make sure there's finality or some conclusion or conclusiveness to the subject of the current agitations that the coalition of concerned teachers seem to have with the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service?
As I rightly said or stated first, I indicated that definitely it's been some kind of a routine thing that happens where teacher would have to go on demonstration before their demands are met, and that of course is not a palatable thing for all of us, because definitely my brother, of course, if he were to be in leadership and a lot of people would have to demand for what is not available at a particular time, he would then feel the pinch of exactly what it takes for other groups to sit at the table and resolve the matter before any other alternative can be taken. For me, they have not exhausted the process. That is my point. I'm not saying what they are due should not be given them. But until you have exhausted the process, until you have sat down and it couldn't prove right for you, or it proves futile, that is when you have a way to demonstrate. But for me, where they are now, for me, it is not clicking for me at all.
Saleh made a point.
Yeah.
The precedent that we've had in this country over the last couple of years is that when the government, the government is only very reactionary to the needs of groups and the citizenry. That is, if those sections of the population seem to have those concerns, especially when it comes to the worker groups when they demonstrate or pickets.
I will support them if, let's say, they have exhausted the means and they are on demonstration.
It will not
I'll be all out for them.
You see that the ministry will be addressing their concerns.
They will still go to the bargaining table. That is what I'm pointing out. They will still go there. If they like, they should stay at home. They should stay on the street and they should not go to the table. They will never get what they want, but they would have to go there. And that is why I'm saying that they must fulfill or go through that process. When it fails, then they can proceed on demonstration. But for now, it isn't clicking for me at all. For me, it's just one of the gymnastics.
Yeah, you see, but even if they go onto the negotiation table, now government will take them serious. They will do it with dispatch, with the agency that they deserve. But if they don't go on demonstration, and they just do it as matter of, as a normal thing, government will not put a lot of agency into the negotiation.
I believe that is lawlessness. It's lawlessness. If all of us, we are not satisfied with our needs, or would have to take on the street, I can imagine the kind of situation we are plunging this nation into.
There will be some 20,
where is the self-dedication, or where is self-commitment or patriotism as far as our nation is concerned? Because definitely we think somebody might do it and we stand aloof and watch. And I believe that this kind of lifestyle, we all, including all of us here, it wouldn't help us. Indeed, meaning that even if the nation is dirty, there are filth everywhere. We are expecting somebody to come and clear it, while we throw more on the street. The kind of attitude. It's sad though. It's very sad.
You are talking about patriotism. What happened to responsibility? The government has to also live up to its responsibility.
Go to the table and
you don't expect people to be patriotic when you are not living up to your responsibility.
Go to the table and
because the people are working. It's not as if they are sitting down and they are not working. They are working, and indeed they are contributing.
Make sure the processes are done with.
Yes,
then you can go on demonstration. Then we cannot.
No, sometimes you don't have to go to the hawk. Sometimes even looking at the slow pace of the negotiation, you could see that
they are doing now
you
is
will
that
not arrive anywhere if you don't go on demonstration.
What they are doing now is that when the students in the classroom decided to go out whilst they are on the process of teaching, they will accept.
Okay. I like it. You know, until Salia entered, you were not that much agitated. No, just cool up. I think you needed a competitor. So when the competitor is in, Accra is facing a huge problem with waste. And it's also because a waste treatment plant will be shut down, and that doesn't augur well for sanitation in the city. Well, the waste management contractors are saying government owes them some money, and they will need some of those remittances to keep the organizations and their facilities running, to make sure that when it comes to waste collection and management, it is appropriately done so. That's a huge concern for residents.
Yes, I believe, you know, with this waste collection issue, there should be an answer or a solution to it. Why? One, if we invite private investors to invest into that side, I think it will help a lot, because the normal practice now, but it would continue to degenerate into other
what's
things.
What's happening is that these are private investments, but the point is, well,
we need more competition.
No,
what I mean is there should be a competition.
There should be we have an association of waste management contractors.
Yeah.
They have a number of facilities that they undertake. They fund their own landfill sites, etc. At the end of the day, the point is waste is generated by the citizenry, and the city authorities need to make sure, whether it's a district or municipal authority, they need to make sure that their communities are rid of filth. And so somebody has to pay for it. It has to be a taxpayer.
Sure. Which, of course, the tax are being paid. The tax are being paid. The fact is that who is responsible? Who is responsible to see to it that these payments are effected? That is the question we should all be asking. And then we, even as we on this platform, we should be able to contact the right person who ought to have paid. And if that person has not paid, to me, that person should be fired, because it is of no use for you to sit down for things to deteriorate to that extent.
Do you know that the government is in arrears for many statutory payments to many state agencies or quasi-state agencies over the last couple of months or weeks?
Yes.
Or years.
It's been over the years, not specifically this current government. It's been a kind of practice, and I am saying that there are people who are placed in position of trust that are to see to it that these payments are made. And if it's not ongoing, if it's not being done, then there is no use for the person to be sitting where he's sitting. And I am advocating strongly that whosoever is found culpable of not paying for the right for the right services rendered should be fired.
Okay.
I think that the government is taking everybody for a right, including our right to cleanliness and all that. We all know that when this government assumed power, especially in 2009...
Sorry, no politics with this.
No politics. No. You see, but you can't divide politics from some of these things. Because it's the responsibility of government to ensure that the cities, towns are clean. Even if it takes government to ensure to let the individual even clean his place. We used to have those the tankers and all those people who go around their houses and ensure that everything is clean and all that. I'm saying that government has not attached importance to cleanliness. Look at the filths engulfing almost everybody. And if you go to the central district of Accra, sometimes the stench alone can assault you. It's so assaulting. I mean, sometimes it's like you even fall down because of the stench that it exudes and all that. I think that all these things brings about a lot of diseases. Some of these diseases that people die everywhere. We don't know the causes. It could emanate from some of these dirty environment and all that. And you see, for government to then sit down and allow the situation to deteriorate to this point is a concern. You are talking about, the taxpayer money that should be used to pay these people. Because if it's a priority, like in 2010, when it was the priority of government that they should pay judgment debt, they devoted a whole sum of about 276 million to pay judgment debt. And even when there was no even judgment, they would ensure that they pay. I'm saying that if it is the priority of sanitation, yes, that's what I'm saying. If the priority of government, they should ensure that the plant. I learned that they have to even cut the electricity of the plant, and it was just
the supply.
So
it was just more recently they reinstated.
Yes, and all that. Okay. So that tells you that government is not serious about all these things. I would say that nobody should be faulted about government.
I don't believe it's government. It's us as citizens. It's the government that asks us to throw things on the street, even to the gutters where they are.
So you're saying that people's attitude also should be well.
Exactly. Unless
but the
we
point
change
is
our
that even if people's
attitude,
attitudes are well, whatever is littered needs to be collected. And,
and
whoever collects has to be paid. That's the whole point. Okay, so that'll be it for the first half of the discussions. Next, we're going to have the next half of the discussion with Vitus Azim, Executive Secretary of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. It's a local chapter for Transparency International, the anti-corruption watchdog agency around the world. And we're going to have a lot more discussions on issues of corruption, etc. And so I have had in the studio as my guest Saka Salia. He is he's a spokesperson for the Truth and Accountability Forum. You have to pardon me for this. And also the convener for the Young Democrats. It's also a pressure group. So two groups here. Don Agbanyo. Don, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so I wish you a very good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Your own is Truth and Reconciliation.
Truth and Accountability Forum.
Truth and Accountability.
Yes.
Your pressure group.
Yeah, it's civil society.
Young Democrats.
Young Democrat for good governance.
Then we have Young Patriots too. That's also your group?
No.
That's different? That's it. All right, so that'll be it. Next.